Hello, everybody. This is Billy Kest on a new venture, the Patriot Podcast, at YouTube. These are the Patriot Podcasts. All right, let's get right into it. Yesterday was Tuesday, September 22nd. The Messiah, the Great One, who's going to save the earth, he was at the United Nations, determined to combat climate change. Let me just say something. We humans are not going to affect climate change. Okay? Now, there's really not much of an argument as to the fact that climate is changing, and it does change. The question is, how much of it is to blame on humans, and how much influence do we really have to stop it? So, Obama's, speaking to the United Nations, a failure to address climate change could create an irreversible catastrophe. Oh boy, talk about algorithm. President Obama warns in his speech. He warns that a failure to address the problem could create an irreversible catastrophe. And he said time is running out to fix the problem, but we still can reverse it. Yep, we still can save it. We still have time, but time is short. These are all scare tactics. And Obama always wants to rush things through. He wants to rush it and get it done his way, and it's got to be quick. It's got to be now. Just like the stimulus package. I want this passed. This has to be passed in 48 hours. I don't want you to read. Don't read it. Don't read it. Just vote yes. And that's basically what happened. Nobody read it. Can you imagine? Not voting on something without reading it? I never seen an administration like this before in my life. This guy's a disaster. A total disaster. And more people are seeing it. Look at the march on D.C., September 12th. Even people that watch the news might not even know about it. It wasn't covered. You got to kind of look for it. It was covered, but not that much. Combating climate change, it's just, it's like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? How do you combat this? What's next? Combating hurricanes? Just like a hurricane, you don't combat it. You don't do things to stop it. You do things to protect yourself from it. So instead of these politicians and these green tree-hugging activists doing all this, putting all this time and energy into combating climate change, what they should be doing is preparing for it. Let's figure out ways to prepare for it, to deal with it. What are we going to do when it happens? Let's focus on that. How fast it's happening is debatable. I don't think it's going to be, within a week we're going to be underwater. Long Island's going to be underwater, and Florida's going to be half underwater. Within a week, it's going to be a very slow, process. We'll be able to pack our things and go. It's probably going to take generations. That's my opinion. But see, that's debatable. How much we have to do with it, how much we can do to stop it, and how fast it's happening. Those are the three things that we have to look at when it comes to climate change. There was another interesting article, CBS News, political hot sheet. This is funny. They go over the UN Climate Summit leaves large carbon footprint. It's kind of ironic. To hear world leaders and others addressing the United Nations Summit on climate change, the threat could not be more real and the need more urgent to reduce emissions of greenhouse gases. But in stark contrast to the earnest statements is the carbon footprint associated with the gathering itself. It happens every autumn. Midtown Manhattan becomes the motorcade capital of the world. Each foreign leader in town has a convoy of vehicles. Some of them, like our Messiah, President Obama, his motorcade consists of 20 to 30 vehicles. It's so long that it seems that when the front of it reaches the UN, the back end is still back at the hotel. So what they're saying is these people are gathering together at the UN, all these foreign leaders, and they're telling us how to live our lives while they're making one of the biggest carbon footprints of the year. I mean, it's like these celebrities that go around the country preaching, telling us to only use one square to wipe up behinds after going number 2. They're telling us to do that, and they're flying from city to city in a private jet. John Travolta, he's got a runway. His driveway is a runway. He has a 747 parked in his driveway. And he's telling us that we have to carpool. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. And that's why, and the liberals, the left-wing tree-hugging liberals, the tree-hugging sect of liberalism, are always pointing at conservatives as if we're the slobs and we're ruining the environment. Let me tell you, conservatives are the true lovers of nature. We are the hunters, the hikers, the fishermen, the campers. We're the ones with a true appreciation of nature. The liberals who preach about saving the planet are the ones who hang out in an air-conditioned Starbucks with their laptops, telling everyone, on their high horse, telling everybody else how to live their lives. And they have no idea. They just have no idea. A couple weeks ago, we had the LA wildfires. They could have been a lot less severe had they been allowed to cut the underbrush. They have a system where they remove it every so often, but these environmental groups push to pass legislation not to touch the underbrush, to leave it there. And because of that underbrush, the fires were more severe than they needed to be. Okay? These are these environmental wackos that they just, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Leave things alone. I mean, these people, all they want to do is feel good. It's all feel-good politics. It's all feel-good activism. It makes them feel good. It makes them feel like they're fighting for something. It gives their lives meaning. Look at me. I'm fighting to save the trees and the whales and the birds and the bees. Hey. Meanwhile, they're sitting on their laptops, listening to every word out of Al Gore's mouth, worshiping their Messiah, Obama, sitting at their laptops in an air-conditioned Starbucks, telling the rest of the world how to live their lives. What a joke. And this UN summit, again, they're making the biggest carbon footprint while they're telling us to cut down on carbon footprints. Meanwhile, they make the biggest one. All these leaders, all these motorcades, all going to the UN. I got a solution. I have a solution. Don't even meet at the UN. How's that? Don't even meet. Why clog the streets of Manhattan with all these motorcades and all this greenhouse gases when we have the internet? Seriously. You have sites like livevideo.com or stickem.com. You can open up your own little chat room, and each leader will have their own little video feed, and you can see him. You'll be able to see the leader, hear him talking, and you all take turns making a speech, and you do it that way on the internet. And everybody stays home. All the leaders just stay home and do it from home. You got a laptop and a microphone? Hey, you're in business. Set an example. Really? How about that? That's a great idea, isn't it? We don't even need the UN. All right, Billy Kess. Patriot Podcast is the channel. PatriotEdition.com is the website. Please subscribe. Thank you and have a nice day.